Hello and welcome to Caribbean Content Creators. My name is Lyndon, Baptiste. I'm a writer, a programmer, and book publisher from Trinidad and Tobago. Recently, I started a Clubhouse on the app Clubhouse, and I met a content creator from Trinidad. And when I asked him what he's up to, he said something that stuck with me. He said, I am trying to make a living while being passionate about my work. And it made an impression on me because it's something I've been struggling with, although YouTube and content creation is a side hustle for me. I feel like since late October 2022, I've lost a little bit of the passion that I have for content creation. And I've been trying to put my finger on why exactly that is. And I believe those words stood out to me because it is part of the experience that I am having. And maybe it's part of the experience you having too. So today I want to talk a little bit about staying passionate while making a living as a content creator. And I also want to acknowledge the content creator that asked me that question. His name is Sean Youngwing. And his details are in the show notes. He's a brilliant songwriter, singer, talented videographer. So you could check out his channel. And he does mic reviews and different type of work that stands out. And I hope to have him on the podcast soon. So, Sean, thank you very much for your statement. It is inspiring, this podcast episode. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about. And I'll leave that for last in terms of how I believe we could stay passionate as content creators. I also reached out to another YouTuber this morning. His name is Reaping What You Sow, and we've been in touch for a while. And I asked him, what is his experience in terms of staying passionate while making a living? And he was blunt, and he said, right now, for me, there's no balance. There's no passion because the need to make a living, the need to survive, it trumps everything else. And in the middle of all the pressure, it's impossible for him to create content. And he used the expression, he said, I feel like I'm living in a washing machine, too tired to create content. And that's a real position to be in. The pressures of life, the need to create, the need to show up, and being in a state of mind. My own experience with writing is that I have to be in a good place to create that type of content. And the same stands out for video. Now, to go back to my personal experience before I get into the points, I think I started making videos for fun. And I had some business ambition because I did it at a point in time when I was trying to create an opportunity to win a competition for my book. One of my books called Men and Misfits. So that's how I got into content creation, along those lines. And then I realized, hey, I have a little bit of talent with this, and I had a passion for political satire. So I started making videos like that, and altogether lost sight of the need to promote my books. So I was doing content creation for fun. Fast forward a couple of years, I'd meet Mr. Bat and Farmer Harry, and along the way, to support the work that they were doing with me, people started, they would sell their limes, they would sell different produce that they have. And I got this ambition to send Farmer Harry to Antigua. Now, of course, that cost money. And I can't dip into my day job to do that. So I thought, well, let me try to approach YouTube as a business. And that's where you start working with customers and maybe creating ads for them. But it takes you maybe a little bit further away from your passion, which is the writing, the storytelling, because you're now curating content for that customer and it may not fit the model of what you're passionate about. But you have to do what you have to do. Along the way, I became a little bit obsessed, might be the right word, with generating revenue. And I believe that was gnawing at me in a way that I didn't understand. And it was subtracting from the passion that I had to work, to create content. Content that's based around nature and fun. So somewhere along the lines, the need to generate revenue to accomplish your goals was somehow conflicting with my passion to create content. I hope that makes sense, but I'm just sharing what my experience was like. I had the privilege, though, of going to lunch with Farmer Harry recently. And while we're sitting there, he gets a phone call. And it's from a customer who wants to order limes from him. And he gave them the cost price of the limes and the cost price of the plantings that he sells. And I asked him when he finished the call, I said, do you have to transport this limes? Because you have about like a 15 minutes walk with this produce. Did you work in something for transport? And he paused and he looked at me. Farmer Harry's 61 years old. And he said, I do what I do for fun. Yes, I could work in a cost for that. It will inflate the price of the produce, and I try not to get too taken up with the fine print. Maybe the way I was taken up with the fine print in terms of him having a transport cost. And of course we need to charge for our services, but what he said at the point in time, it stood out to me. Because I realized in that moment that for months I have been absorbed with the fine print. And I believe that is one of the things that stealing my passion. So I'm sharing a little bit. This preamble is all to show you that there are things that could be affecting our passion in very different ways. The need to survive, being hung up on making money and making content that takes us further away from our true self. And we don't know what is responsible for these things. Let's jump into the tips here. And these tips are along the lines of remaining passionate and generating revenue at the same time. Number one, it's important to have clear goals. We start something as fun, but have a vision for where you want to be. And that's crucial. Because chances are you're going to jump on TikTok. If you're an individual content creator, you're going to jump on TikTok, you're going to jump on Facebook, YouTube, and you're posting content, and people start responding well to it. You maybe never imagined the impact it would have. And then there comes a time where, based on your reach and the response you're getting, you tell yourself, but this is something that I could make money from. I think when you go in and you have a clear sense of what you want to accomplish apart from having fun, maybe you want to set sight on an upgrade, whether it is in terms of a phone for yourself or a microphone. However small, it doesn't even necessarily, your goal doesn't even have to be related to content creation, or it doesn't have to be something financial. You might say, I just want to make 10 people laugh today. But chances are that if your content is doing well, you're going to start thinking about how you could sustain it as a business. And if you have a clear sight of where you want to end up, I believe that would help you a lot. The second point is, I guess, kind of cliche. We hear it a lot. And this is specializing topics that you're knowledgeable and passionate about. And that might sound strange coming from me because I am knowledgeable about writing. I am knowledgeable and passionate about storytelling and programming. But you don't necessarily see that kind of content on my pages, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. So what am I passionate about? And what am I sharing? And I've given this a lot of thought over the last couple of weeks or years maybe. And I recognize that I am passionate about people, grassroots people, and what they're up to in particular. I am passionate about that, and I could, because of maybe my background in storytelling and writing, I could visit you. I could have a sense of what you are about. And in real time, I love creating a story, identifying the conflicts asking questions that may be of value to the audience that is looking at me. I am also passionate about good values, family values, traditional values, values that we associate with long-time Trinidad and Tobago. And I hope this doesn't come across as boastful, but I realize that that is the type of home that my parents brought us up in. And it stands out. It stands out as being important to me because I would like to leave a better space for my children and our children to live in. So I am passionate about people and very traditional values. And regardless of my content, whether it is a funny joke or a terrible joke or political satire, there's a part of me that's kind of fighting for a better country, a country that's entrenched in almost in village life and village thinking. And while we move forward, while we progress with technology. So you identify what, not necessarily only the type of content that you like making, whether it's about agriculture, whether it's about microphones, but the values that are part of you as a human being, and they would just naturally come out. Number 3, if you want to make a living and remain passionate, regardless of the platform you're on, your audience needs to know that you are selling something. Every now and then, you must remind your audience that you have a particular product or service for sale. You don't need to do it every video, but maybe at the beginning of every 2 or 3 videos, you have earned the right as a content creator that's entertaining and educating people in some way. You've earned the right to tell people, my name is Sean Young Wing. I make videos for small businesses that are interested in content creation. I could come in, whether you're selling cakes, whether you have a clothes store, I could make videos for you and create a Facebook page and get your content out there in front of the right people. My name is Reaping What You Sow. Today we're talking about the Stilt 120 and how to repair the gas tank. I sell lemons and I have this service that I could offer. Your audience needs to know that you're selling something. My name is Ishmael. I have a book that's coming out very soon, and Ishmael, who's a digital marketer, I will put the links to he's part of the Clubhouse. I will put the links to his book and to his pages as well. Your audience needs to know that you're selling something. Number 4, keep experimenting with new forms of content, such as shorts, live streams, long-form content, ebooks, or podcasting. I am experimenting with podcasting right now. And I realize, this may not necessarily work in terms of how we tend to measure things along the lines of views. But I have a passion, as I mentioned, in people. And I enjoy hearing these stories that they give of their own experience as a creator. And I draw from the wealth of that knowledge. And I think it improves me, not necessarily in a technical sense only, but as an individual who wants to appreciate the skills and the dedication of creators, whether they are writers, videographers, singers. I love behind the scenes. So experiment with new forms of content. I am experimenting with podcasting because I also realize that I have terrible, nuances or bad habits in my speech, and I'm working on correcting them. Listening back to this, I hope not to hear as many fillers and ums and ahs and long pauses in my sentence as when I first started. And even if I do, I'm hoping that as I go along, I get better at it. And you never know what type of content will work well. Recently, I spoke to Juma Bannister, and Juma was saying he's an advocate for experimentation. But when you find something that works, you double down on it. Another way that you could make money is you could offer premium content through memberships or subscriptions. It might be YouTube membership on your YouTube channel. You're creating premium content. Farmer Harry and I were speaking about this recently in terms of he could make videos dedicated to the kitchen garden and offer that as a premium package videos on his YouTube channel that he could generate different revenue from. I believe you have different, I don't know the technical details behind this, but you have different levels of content that you could create. Free might take the form of this podcast or a YouTube video. You could have, and if you have a service that you offer, and maybe you do like in Sean's case where you're doing sound stage setup, or you targeting artists who want to do recordings, then you could think about maybe there are a free set of videos that I could have if someone is at home and they want to create videos. They want to do musical recordings. Maybe this is a simple setup that you could have. So there's a free level, but then he could jump into now and something that's a little bit more premium, get a little bit quality for the person who wants to go the distance. And in the meantime, he's trying to attract. You could pay for this if you want, or you could hire me and I will do it for you. I've suddenly lost track of where we've reached, but I know the next point is along the lines of utilizing affiliate marketing and sponsored content. And I tried for a number, I'll share my experience with this. I tried for a number of years to hook up with Amazon associates. It wasn't doing well for me at all because I think in the first 3 months, you had to generate a certain amount of revenue to qualify, although they would cancel the account if you didn't reach that particular target. So I didn't reach the target multiple times. Recently, my wife started back making content on her YouTube page and I would help her with it. And her format is where she's packing lunches and she has Amazon affiliate links to all these different products. And through the work that she's doing and the moms that are looking at her channel, different ones have clicked on the Amazon affiliate links and purchased the products and we qualified. So there's income that is, these links are in the descriptions to her different videos and they are stated as affiliate links. So in the background, whenever someone discovers the videos, probably by searching for the title of a particular launch kit, then they come across the video and if they choose to support using the affiliate links, you have money, passively coming into you. So that's another option that you have. This last point is one that I value it as the top point, although I'm mentioning it last. The last point is with balancing passion and the need to make a living, there's a need, network and collaborate with other creators to reach a wider audience. And not just reach a wider audience, but to learn from each other. And this goes back to the Clubhouse meeting that we had last night. When Sean responded to the question that I asked him, it inspired this particular podcast episode. In fact, I was going to do some work. And I say, you know what? Let me quickly record this podcast episode because it is fresh in my mind through that collaborative effort that we have. And different ones who participated in it, they said, I learned something. And isn't it amazing? I think it's I am also a teacher. And I think it's amazing when someone who has developed expertise is willing to share their knowledge and someone crosses a hurdle, someone with a similar interest is able to cross a hurdle a lot quicker. So I wanna thank Mr. Sean Youngwing once again for his response and that creative and collaborative effort which brought us together so that we could learn from one another and inspire one another in different ways. And if you're on Clubhouse, if you're a Caribbean content creator, I want to urge you to check it out. And we hope to do meetings at least twice a week on Sundays and Tuesdays at 8 p.m. I'm hoping that by us collaborating and listening to one another and sharing our own experience and respecting one another, that we could grow together and become better at what we do. And the stronger that we are together, hopefully we will be able to become more focused in terms of making a living, balancing your passion. And if you made it to the end of this episode, thank you very much for your time. I hope you've benefited from the experience. And if you love creating content, just sometimes you hit brick walls. But working together really brings out a special magic that we need more of as creators, as individuals, as a society. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.